Mark, thanks a lot. It's great to meet you.
Same, Doug.
So what was it like growing up in Pittsburgh in the 60s and 70s?
I mean, it was a good place to grow up, obviously. Samuel S. Nixon Elementary School, Bower Hill Road School, and then finding my way to Mount Lebanon High School. It was just normal. I don't know anything different, so I don't,
Yeah.
But, it was, for us, it was like sports, and sports. That's all it was. The Pirates, the Penguins, the Steelers.
One of the things we're looking at is identity, and I'm wondering if you can look back to when you were in town. What was the identity then?
You mean when I was growing up or
Yeah,
recently?
yeah.
Oh, when I was growing up, it was steel mill. I mean, I remember getting to high school and turning 16 and getting a job down at Ralph's Discount downtown for $1.60 an hour as a box boy. And even back then, the primo job for a kid in school was working at the mill.
Yeah.
That was the job. Who do you know to get a job at a mill?
And you'd make pretty good money.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't $1.60 an hour, that's for damn sure.
So it was all brawny industrial might.
Yeah, without question. I mean, I don't think, and that was kind of pre-technology too. It wasn't like technology had taken hold in the world yet. And so manufacturing was the thing.
Sure.
And economies across the country and the world were, rose and fell on the fortunes of manufacturing.
You've watched Pittsburgh over the years.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Oh my goodness, it's like, from when I was a kid smelling like rotten eggs to now being a technology center and a beautiful city that's on the go and growing. It's a city you can be proud of. It's a city I'm proud of.
What would you say the identity of Pittsburgh is now, whether to you or what you think people
Oh
think?
no, it's technology.
Yeah.
You've got, UPMC probably was the fulcrum for a lot of it, but now you've got companies like Duolingo that's just crushing it. Carnegie Mellon has become a foundation for startups. And so it's truly a tech town, which is surprising to a lot of people. But between Pitt, Carnegie Mellon, Duquesne, there's a nice, even Point Park, there's a nice foundation for teaching students advanced technologies and them staying and starting companies and liking Pittsburgh.
If Pittsburgh were a product, you do a lot of investing, obviously. Would you invest now? Would you say it's investable? Would you say it's on the verge of being investable?
No, I mean, if they came on Shark Tank, for sure, it'd be investable because it's harder to turn something around than it is to take the momentum it has and extend it. Particularly with Carnegie Mellon, AI is something that Carnegie Mellon has really put a focus on for multiple years now, which put them ahead of the curve. We know it's going far, we know it's changing everything, and we just don't know how far it's going to go. And for Pittsburgh to be right in the center of that, I think is really incredible for the city, and I think it'll help us grow significantly.
So now, and the reason we started Pittsburgh Tomorrow is because in a comparative way, we're really behind other places. We lead the country in what's called natural population decline, more deaths than births. So we've started Pittsburgh Tomorrow to really reinvigorate the place and find a way of stemming those populations and getting into a growth mentality again. And before I go into much more of that, I'm just curious what growth would look like in your view.
I think you have to become a destination for something. Hopefully it's AI. Hopefully that also includes medical technology. But I think, those two areas are strong opportunities for Pittsburgh Tomorrow.
So what we're focusing on with Pittsburgh Tomorrow, and you could focus on, some people say, well, focus on population growth. We're actually focusing in a more targeted way of really attracting, retaining, connecting, catalyzing what we're calling pioneers. We believe those people will be catalytic to the area's future. So we're really trying to get them to come and say, wow, this is a blank canvas. This is a place where I can create my future. With your entrepreneurial bent, I mean, what kind of atmosphere do you think is necessary to create that situation where people say, yeah, I want to start my company. I want to move.
You got to reduce the friction.
Yeah, what friction?
I mean, from taxes on down to licenses to registrations. If the path of least resistance is to go someplace where it's negligible to start a business, If Pittsburgh were like that, if Pittsburgh were similar to Texas as an example, people would go to Pittsburgh in a heartbeat because the cost of living is so much lower.
Yeah.
There's always a balance, but for an entrepreneur, like if I have a choice between going someplace where, all things are equal in starting a business, all the friction associated with that, but the cost of living is a lot lower. That's why Dallas was such a great destination, but now the cost of living in Dallas has gone up significantly, and the cost of living in Pittsburgh has stayed the same and even, basically hovered, maybe gone down some. So the opportunity is there if you can reduce the friction.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Rather than put up roadblocks, we need to be removing them. All the things you're saying, and like hanging up a big sign saying, entrepreneurs, business leaders, welcome, come here. We need that more than any place in the country with our population and economic situation.
You can't ask entrepreneurs what they want. That's the nature of being an entrepreneur.
Sure.
You're figuring out as you're going.
Absolutely.
You never ask your customers what they want. You anticipate what they need. Pittsburgh has got the foundation.
Yeah.
You don't need to, jump over huge hurdles, except for the things we mentioned. Pittsburgh the state of Pennsylvania can't stand it up to say, we are the best destination for business right now, right? Everything else, check.
So if you were going to say, to wrap it up, something you'd like to see, and you've already said it, in Pittsburgh to catalyze the motion and the energy that's already building, if some of it's nascent, what would you say?
You need to find something to sell. You already have cost of living. Cost of living is a huge advantage. Like I mentioned earlier, you've got a ton of available space. You've got the ability to grow and build and expand inexpensively. The only thing that, again, and I'm not the expert, is just all the friction. Now maybe there's programs there, and if there are, then they better do a better job of selling them. Yeah. Because 99% of the time, it's not that it's missing, it's just that nobody knows it's there. There's plenty of opportunities, I guess, is what I'm saying. And we just need to tell more and more people that this is a great destination and here's a reason why you should go.
Yeah, and we're going to work on just that. Well, Mark, thanks a lot.
Thanks,
really
Doug.
appreciate
This was fun.
it.
Yeah.
Hope to continue the conversation.
Yeah, anytime. I hope so too.